Federal government wants the nation's judiciary to remain steadfast as custodians of law as Board of Benchers holds maiden annual lecture. Senate passes bill to repeal and reenact NIMC Act, seeks to harmonize Nigeria's identity system. And INEC, on recall of senator representing Kogi Central Senatorial District, reassures Nigerians of open, transparent process. Hello and many thanks for joining us on the late evening news at 11 on NTA News 24, reaching you live from Abuja. I am Chinenye Nwoye. Vice President Kashim Shettima has enjoined the nation's judiciary to remain steadfast as custodians of the law. The Vice President gave the advice during the official opening of the maiden body of Benchers annual lecture in Abuja. State House correspondent Abdurrahman Jibrila reports.
This is the Body of Benchers maiden annual lecture, featuring the public presentation of the report of the Legal Practitioners Disciplinary Committee, and was unveiled by Nigeria's Vice President Kashim Shettima.
The body must constantly avail itself of the opportunity of introspection by a platform for intellectual, practical reflection of the dynamics of changes in the world.
Embrace rapid technological advancement, particularly in artificial intelligence, global commerce, and digital governance. Your role as custodians of justice must evolve to meet the demands of the modern era.
Today, more than ever, there is an urgent need to recommit ourselves to the fundamental values of ethics, discipline, and professional responsibility. It is instructive to note that the Body of Benchers, as the apex institution of the legal profession in Nigeria, is uniquely positioned to lead the charge in this regard.
With the theme "Half a Century of the Body of Benchers, the Past, the Present, and the Future of Maintaining the Ethics of Legal Profession in Nigeria," with former Governor of Lagos State, Babatunde Fashola, doing justice to the topic as keynote speaker.
Law practice is not a trade, it's a profession. So, profession has trumped trade. But what is undeniable is that the law profession, especially the barrister's work, is rooted in norms, is rooted in usages, traditions, and culture, all of which are learned in practice rather than in the classroom.
This is why the legal profession carries a burden unlike any other. You, my lords and eminent jurists, are not just interpreters of the law, you are custodians of justice. But this role is not without its burdens. The expectations are high, and the temptations are many. Yet I urge you, my lords and eminent jurists, to remain steadfast. To borrow the words of the eminent jurist Lord Atkin, justice is not a wasted virtue. It must be allowed to suffer the scrutiny of reasonable men.
Vice President Kashim Shettima reminded the legal professionals that the foundation of a great nation is built on the ethical sensitivity of the institutions that uphold justice, and the Body of Benchers, representing the highest traditions of the legal profession, is key. In Abuja, Abdurrahman Jibrila, NTA News.
The President Bola Ahmed Tinubu-led administration is already putting measures in place to strengthen land tenure system, processes of land ownership, as well as streamlining land administration. Nigeria's Vice President Kashim Shettima was represented at a National Land Conference organized by the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, NIPS, Kuru Jos, in collaboration with the John Bull Amayebo Foundation.
Program called which is the Land Acquisition and Settlement Framework, which provided a framework for anybody wanting to take, a large parcel of land for industrial or agricultural use.
While the organizers and participants at the conference advocate reforming land governance, the keynote speaker and other resource persons want them to secure a presidential buy-in, engage the Council of State, and advocate land governance reforms, as well as backup policies by sustained advocacy.
For us at National Institute, we feel it is time for us to look at this. We do not know where this conference will take us, but we want to fulfill one of our mandates, which is to research and reflect on matters of national interest. And on matters of national interest, we cannot relegate land acquisition system to the background.
This conference is not merely an event, it is the beginning of a structured national dialogue that will be held annually.
Now, there is a call to action that if Nigeria is to achieve its full potential, then Nigerians must build a robust land governance system that is not only transparent, but also inclusive and efficient. In Abuja, Chinenye Nwoye, NTA News. A legislative framework that would make registration of citizens compulsory has been passed at the Senate. The bill seeks to ensure the provision of a harmonious identity system in Nigeria that is free of inaccuracies, cost-effective, and in compliance with best global practices. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports.
The Senate Committee on National Identity Card and Population, while submitting the report on the National Identity Management Commission Repeal and Reenactment Bill for consideration and passage, gave highlights of the legislation, which seeks to, among others, enable establishment of a database and enhance registration and issuance of identity card for citizens of Nigeria.
To strengthen the legal framework of national and digital identity, thereby creating an optimal foundational identification ecosystem that fosters inclusion, universal coverage, and accessibility.
I pray that this bill will ensure that we have proper record and proper data to plan not just for the current generation, but for future generations of Nigerians. Thank you.
Senate also passed the bill to establish Federal University of Medical and Health Sciences, BIDA, in Niger State, forwarded from the House of Representatives for concurrence. Senate has, in response to a motion from Senator Asukwo Ekpeyon, mandated its Committee on Communications to investigate factors driving the high cost of data in Nigeria, as it calls for a downward review.
The reasons provided by telecom providers for the data price hike include high operational costs, unfavorable exchange rates, are untenable, and appears that instead of addressing the root causes of the high cost of doing business in Nigeria, the burden is being unfairly transferred to end users.
I'm particularly interested in this because of the manner it affects the young men who are in larger population in this country, who are the most productive sector. They rely on data to acquire resources that we are not able to provide for them.
Plenary featured the confirmation of appointments of the part-time chairman of Asset Management Corporation of Nigeria, AMCON, Dr. Bala Bello, alongside 5 non-executive directors, as requested by President Bola Tinubu. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
And a bill for an act to alter the 1999 Constitution to define and spell out the President's immunity has scaled the hurdle of second reading in the House of Representatives. This proposed amendment also seeks to strip the Vice President, state governors and their deputies of their immunity in a bid to step up accountability in public office. National Assembly correspondent Mitaire Ikben has details of Wednesday's plenary.
42 constitution alteration bills passed second reading at Wednesday's plenary in the House of Representatives, covering devolution of powers, state creation, citizenship rights, strengthening of institutions, and local government administration. The bill seeking to limit immunity only to the president also seeks to specify the scope of presidential immunity. It proposes that immunity shall be inapplicable in a situation of criminal conduct or when acting in unofficial capacity. The sponsor believes this will curb impunity and corruption in public office. Other bills that scaled second reading include proposals to separate the offices of the Attorney General of the Federation and the Minister of Justice, to give state governments the green light to create and fund local governments, as well as to strengthen local government autonomy.
Everything we are doing here is to provide for uniformity nationwide, so that state A will not go and say we have 2 years, and state B will say we have 3 years, so that it becomes an offense by any governor or anybody that will tamper with the local government system.
Removing mining, natural resources, which will include oil and gas, which is altering section 44 of the Constitution, where you're removing them from the exclusive list and taking them to the concurrent list.
The House commended President Bola Tinubu for signing the Southwest and South-South Development Commission bills into law.
Thank you, Mr. President. On behalf of the Parliament, it's a very important bill that you just assented to. I am sure that with the Development Commission, the impact of this administration in its effort to leave the mandate of the Renewed Hope agenda will be felt by the grassroots.
At the relaunch of the Nigeria Parliamentary Tuberculosis Caucus, there were assurances that Parliament will take decisive legislative actions to combat the disease.
The 10th House of Representatives has, through our legislative agenda, shown commitment towards reforming the healthcare sector.
This is therefore a clarion call for Nigerian parliamentarians to strengthen advocacy efforts to ensure these targets are met and that our country meets the United Nations high-level meeting targets to end TB by 2030.
From the National Assembly, Mitaire Ikmen, NTA News.
The House of Representatives Committee on Nigeria-China Parliamentary Friendship Group is ramping up efforts to deepen economic ties among the two countries with focus on industry, education and research. At a meeting with top Chinese investors, the committee pushed for a robust transfer of technology from China to Nigeria. Ignatius Ngwo reports.
Building on the momentum from the recent unveiling of the Nigeria-China Sustainable Business, Trade and Investment Summit, the House of Representatives Committee on Nigeria-China Parliamentary Friendship Group commences strategic engagement aimed at fostering stronger bilateral relations and ensuring a productive summit. In a significant move, the committee played host to a delegation from ZPAC Science and Technology, one of China's largest free trade zones, led by its secretary, Shi Qilin. The discussions centered on practical steps to unlock investment opportunities and facilitate knowledge transfer in critical sectors.
We want to have a joint establishment of a Nigeria-China university, kind of a scholarship running between Nigeria-China through the ZPAC free trade zone.
We have a special policy called 引进来走出去. 引进来 means we inviting the people, the resources from overseas coming to China, including the exchange part.
A resource that we have, which is lithium, is of very importance to China.
The visiting Chinese investors expressed their commitment to exploring business and industrial partnerships in Nigeria.
To set up electric vehicle manufacturing as our first start.
An opportunity for you, for your association, to participate effectively during the summit.
Also present at the meeting were key members of the technical working group for the upcoming summit. Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
You're watching the late evening news at 11 on NTA News 24. We'll take a break here. There will be more reports when we return. Do stay.
Introducing Clean, the National Orientation Agency's AI voice and text assistant. For easy access to up-to-date information on government policies, programs, and activities, National Orientation Agency (NOA) introduces AI voice and text assistant. Log on to www.noa.gov.ng. Click on the Clean icon and ask away. Hello Clean. What are the federal government programs on agriculture?
Federal government policies on agriculture. 1. Dry Season Farming Initiative. Objective: to increase food production and ensure food security by utilizing irrigation systems for farming during the dry season. Scope: the initiative aims to cover 7,000 hectares across various states in Nigeria.
Access Clean by visiting the National Orientation Agency's website at www.noa.gov.ng.
Many thanks for staying on. The Nigerian Customs Service has declared Kebbi State a no-go area for smugglers and other illegal traders. This is during a visit by Customs Controller General Bashir Adewale Adeniyi to the Kebbi Area Command, where he also presented a massive seizure of 425,000 litres of smuggled petrol. Correspondent Usman Abdullahi Shehu reports.
Kebbi State's porous border with Niger and Benin republics have made it a hotspot for criminal activities. To combat this, the Nigerian Customs Service has increased surveillance, arresting many criminals and seizing billions of naira worth of goods. The Controller General's visit to Kebbi Area Command aims to intensify the fight against border illegalities, prevent revenue loss, and celebrate the command's recent success. One notable achievement recently is the seizure of 125 litres of petrol valued at 125 million naira, which was concealed in 4,375 of 25 litres jerrycans and 54 drums on 3 Scania trucks with Benin Republic registration numbers. Assistant Controller General Hussaini Ejubunu, who represents the Controller General, emphasized the significance of collaboration among stakeholders and sister agencies.
This success is a testament to the core synergy and collaboration among Operation Whirlwind, the Office of the National Security Advisor, and the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority. For the legitimate traders, the ACG, representing the CGC, has come to reassure you of our support in the facilitation of your trade and businesses.
He urged Nigerians to comply with laws and regulations, fostering the culture of obedience. In Birnin Kebbi, Usman Abdullahi Shehu, NTA News.
In a bid to enhance the ease of doing business in Nigeria and streamline interactions with the nation's business community, the Nigeria Customs Service is set to transit to a more user-friendly digital platform aligned with international best practices. Aminu Umar reports that this initiative was the focus of a capacity-building workshop organized by the Kano Jigawa Area Command, aimed at preparing stakeholders for anticipated transition.
Enhancing the ease of doing business in Nigeria by eliminating obstacles for the business community remains a top priority for the federal government. As part of this effort, the Nigeria Customs Service is leveraging its human resources to develop an innovative platform designed to streamline operations. To ensure smooth transition, key players in the business sector were brought together for a training on how the new system will function ahead of its rollout.
On the network, and the transaction will be seamless than the other platform we were doing before. So we expect it to be far better than the one we are using before.
The controller of Kano Jigawa Area Command, Alhatu Abubakar, stated that the Unified Customs Management System is Nigeria's indigenous platform aimed at creating a single national data window, ensuring accuracy and transparency in transactions.
We invited stakeholders, clearing agents, terminal operators, so that we can be on the same page, because we are on the verge of rolling out switching up NICIS2 in Kano and linking up with BODOGO anytime soon.
For importers, clearing agents and other stakeholders, the expectation is that the new platform will enhance efficiency and deliver optimal results once fully implemented. In Kano, Aminu Umar, NTA News.
Survivors of the recent terrorist ambush attack on operatives of Zamfara State Community Protection Guards in Anka local government area of the state are currently recuperating in a healthcare facility. A powerful delegation led by the State Deputy Governor Mani Mumuni was in the area to commiserate with the affected communities and deliver relief support to the injured and the families of the slain victims. Jamilu Ibrahim has more.
10 operatives of the Zamfara State Community Protection Guards and some local vigilantes were recently killed by terrorists in Anka local government area of Zamfara State. The ambush attack, which occurred on Saturday 22nd March 2025, also left 15 other members of the guards injured. This is a powerful delegation of Zamfara State government led by the State Deputy Governor Mani Mumuni on a sympathy visit to the affected communities. The delegation sympathized and interacted with the local authorities and the community leaders who provided a detailed account of the tragedy and the breakdown of the victims.
We have wounded 14, 10 here in Anka and 4 in Gusau on admission at hospital.
The delegation was also at the General Hospital Anka, where some survivors of the attack are currently receiving treatment.
They accompanied the military to an operation at one of the terrorist enclaves in the forest, where we killed many of the bandits and destroyed their hideouts. Around the Bagega axis that the terrorists ambushed and opened fire on us.
Zamfara State Deputy Governor Malam Mani Mumuni reassured the communities of government's renewed commitment to achieving a lasting peace in all parts of the state.
In fact, we are providing so many things for them because they are really trying and we appreciate their work.
During the visit, the delegation delivered 1 million naira financial assistance of the state government to the families of each of the slain victims, while the injured received between 200 and 500,000 naira each, depending on the severity of their injuries. The delegation also paid a similar visit to Adabka village in Bukum local government area of the state, where 12 people were recently killed by the marauding terrorists. In Gusau, Jamilu Ibrahim, NTA News.
Governor Doye Diri of Bayelsa State has called on President Tinubu and the National Assembly to inaugurate a committee of eminent leaders to urgently intervene and resolve issues leading to the declaration of state of emergency in Rivers State. This is at an emergency stakeholders meeting organized by the Ijaw National Congress, INC, in Yenagoa. Timini Pre Ohia completes the report.
This emergency stakeholders meeting among Ijaws is in response to the very recent state of emergency in Rivers State declared by the president and the need to reconsider the proclamation as the crisis can be resolved through dialogue.
Call on the National Assembly and Mr. President to waste no time in inaugurating the Committee of Eminent Personalities that will immediately intervene and bring peace and bring the constituted government of Rivers State back.
The INC President, Professor Benjamin Okaba, and other stakeholders commended the Jaws for their support for justice and equity in the ongoing political crisis in Rivers State, as they called on the President to reconsider his actions in the Rivers field.
The recent imposition of emergency rule and suspension of Adjunct His Excellency Governor Simon Fogra under whatever guise constitutes a grave assault on the principles of justice, democratic governance, and the sanctity of the people's mandate.
It is my conviction that by the time we come out of this, we would have learned from the mistakes of the past and to be able to move in a direction that resonates with the people of the state.
It is therefore our responsibility to safeguard and improve on what we hold in our custody.
The event had prominent Ijaw leaders in attendance. In Yenagoa, Timinupri Ohia, NTA News.
INEC says the telephone numbers and email addresses on the petition of Senator Natasha have now been provided in a letter addressed to the chairman of the commission, as provided in Clause 2A of the Commission's Regulations and Guidelines for Recall 2024. A letter has been written to notify the senator sought to be recalled about the receipt of the petition and delivered to her official address. The same letter has been copied to the presiding officer of INEC. And that concludes the late evening news at 11 on NTA News 24. Many thanks for watching. I am Chinenye Nwoye.